안녕하세요 여러분, 저는 Felicia입니다. Hello everyone, I am Felicia, your Bath & Body aficionado, knowledgeable and passionate about Bath & Body, and from the neck down, I got you covered. So today's video is going to be about body oils and infused oils. We're going to talk about the difference, the benefits. So now when you hear body oils, a lot of people have negative feelings towards it. It's too greasy, you know, it doesn't sit on my skin well, my skin doesn't absorb it when I put on my clothes, you know, I have the stains from the oil because it hasn't absorbed into my skin. The majority of the body oils that you buy on the market that are mass produced contain, the majority of it is mineral oil. Mineral oil comes from petroleum. It's actually a byproduct of petroleum that's used to make gasoline. So basically what you're putting on your skin is the byproduct, the waste of gasoline, which is why it doesn't sit in your skin and it doesn't absorb it. If you can, and I recommend, and it's very easy, make your own body oils. It's very simple, and the ingredients aren't hard to find. You can get them at CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens. They have jojoba oil there, almond oil, bam, got your body oil right there. And I have a recipe for you. If you look down below of the blog, you're going to see below this video. Sorry about that. I have a recipe, simple recipe, body oil, no problem. So this is a bottle I have right now. I've had this for about 6 weeks. This oil is a lavender, Bulgarian lavender, so it's 8 ounces of golden jojoba and 8 ounces of virgin avocado oil and about 6 drops of essential oil, lavender, Bulgarian lavender. And it smells wonderful. My skin looks good, feels good. I love it. Now, when I buy my oils, I usually buy them from a place called New Directions Aromatics. And I have the avocado extra virgin olive oil right here. So it's newdirectionsaromatics.com. They're based out of Canada, and I love American made. I buy other ingredients from American suppliers, but when it comes to my body oil, my vegetable carrier oils, which are the vegetable oils, and my butters, I get from this supplier from Canada. Only because when it comes to skincare, anything that's going to be put on your skin, on the body, the laws there are very, very strict. They're a little, and not as far as in America, where in the United States it's very, very lax. So I prefer to get my ingredients from here. They take forever to ship, but you know what? It's worth it. And when I make my lotions, my body butters, my soaps, whatever I'm making, I feel confident that I know I'm going to have the best possible product when I finish. And I haven't had any complaints from my family and friends. So that is body oils. Next, we're going to be moving into infused oils. Infused oils, I love making. It's easy, it's fun. When I do infused oils, when I first started out with my grandmother, I made my first one, I believe, at 8. And I have a funny story about that I'm going to tell you in a second. Anytime before I start, you know, getting it into the bigger bottles, I always do my infused oils in glass. And when I start out, when I'm creating a recipe or I'm starting out with ingredients that I haven't used before in a certain combination, I always start with my little 4-ounce jars here. And I got this, a set of 3 from Ross, Dress for Less. It's a department store here. They sell clothes and everything else. $5 for 3, not bad. Also, it's a lot easier to wash out, and it's just easier to maintain and take care of than in a plastic jar. So I prefer glass. So now infused oils, the way that my grandmother described it to me, now you have to remember I was 8 years old, so she had to break it down for me. Infused oils are basically, you're using, say, olive oil, and you're going to use rosemary or lavender, whatever it is, and you're going to put it in a jar, and you're going to let it sit together, and you're going to let them merge and get to know each other, and all the best properties or all the good things that is in the rosemary or the lavender or whatever we put in here is going to combine with olive oil, and it's just going to make it that much better. for your skin, and it just smells better, and it's about just all the good things, combining the best of each ingredient that you're using into one, letting it come together. I was like, oh, okay, I can understand that at 8 years old. I mean, so true story. My grandmother used to have a garden in her backyard where she would have, you know, she had rosemary bushes, rose bushes, she'd have cherry trees, she'd have mint, you name it, she had it in her garden. She had tomatoes, carrots, whatever. It was in her garden. And this day we were making rosemary olive oil, infused oil. So we go into the house, and in the kitchen she had a corner where her herbs or flowers or whatever it was drying. And so we went and we washed the rosemary, dried it, you know, and then we put it up in the corner to hang. Unfortunately, there was still some rosemary left over, and because my grandmother was also making dinner, so she's very she can multitask like crazy. So she's cooking dinner and she's getting everything ready, and she's like, "Can you hand me the rosemary?" I didn't hand her the rosemary that was clean and hanging up and ready to go. I gave her the rosemary that we had just picked off the bush outside. And because she was moving so close, so fast, she didn't even realize that I gave her the wrong rosemary. So we put it in there, she corked it, put it on the shelf, away from the sunlight, you know, because when you do infused oils, it should be in a very dark and cool place, just someplace away from sunlight, literally. So about an hour later, my grandmother, she does a double take, and she's looking at the glass bottle with the cork at the olive oil and the sprigs of rosemary. And I'll never forget, she's like, "What the hell?" She's like, "Oh no!" I said, "But you come here." So I go in there, and sure enough, we're looking at the bottle. There's little bits of dirt in there, but also there's bugs floating in the olive oil. She's like, "Well, you forgot. You gave me the wrong one." I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Grandma." She was like, "No, a lesson learned for you and a lesson learned for me." When we're making infused oils or anything else that we're making, I am going to slow down and take my time to make sure that you are handing me the right ingredient, and you also will make sure that you're handing me the right ingredients as well. So we're going to slow down and take our time. She said, whether it's cooking or whether anything you do, especially when it comes to making skincare products or bath and body, it's always a learning lesson. You will always learn something. I was like, oh, okay. And that's my story. So infused oils, the only difference between the oils that you use for infused oils and infused oils that you use for cooking, the ones that you use for cooking, the ones that have the olive oil that you see, you know, in the grocery store or like in Whole Foods. You know, they have the glass bottles with the peppers and the garlic and all that stuff. It's the same thing, except that's used for cooking and this is used for your skin. That's it. That's the only difference. So I am going to show you some samples that I'm making right now. I'm testing out different recipes that I created myself. First one I'm going is I make my own cocoa butter oil. You know, don't get me wrong, I love Palmer's, but now that I know how to make my own, I prefer my own. So this is my very own cocoa butter oil. You see the little bits of coconut? There you go, you can hear it. Ta-da! So in this, it's a 4-ounce jar. It's half golden jojoba, half camellia seed oil. Now, camellia seed oil comes from Asia. The geishas, they would put it on their skin, and that's why their skin is so flawless when you see them. It's also very popular in Korea and China. It's really popular in Asia, and it's one of my favorites because it goes on their skin so smoothly, and it allows it to breathe, but it also restores your skin's luster and very moisturizing. When I strain it with a cheesecloth, and I usually, now with the cocoa butter, I made this about a week ago, so when I opened it this morning, it smelled just like cocoa butter. And I'll do this one for 4 weeks. Normally, when you're doing these kind of infused oils, you do it for 4 to 6 weeks. If I know that it's cocoa butter, since you know cocoa butter is so strong, the scent, 4 weeks, no problem. So when I strain it, and I put it in the jar, you'll see very fine, minute pieces of cocoa butter in there. And it looks like little strands of silk, but it is, my skin just glows and it smells so good. And when I make it for my family and friends, especially for birthday presents, the first thing is Felicia cocoa butter. Cocoa butter oil, cocoa butter oil, cocoa butter oil. So I make it for them. The next one I have here is, this one is made with hemp seed and vanilla bean. Actually, these are Madagascar vanilla. You see it? Because this one also is very strong. The vanilla beans, as soon as it opened, it hit me. So this one I'll let sit for 4 weeks as well. Now, when I use this oil, I normally use it in my lotions and my body butters, and I use it in my soaps. I love using infused oils in my lotions and soaps and whatnot. I feel that it comes out, my products, they just come out better. You know, it just really does come out better because I've got all the things that I want, the therapeutic properties and the benefits of everything that's in there that I've got, you know, soaking and infusing. It just makes my lotion even better, or body butter even better. And with vanilla, because it's such a strong scent, I usually use lavender just because it complements and it flows very well together. All right, so we have come to the end of the video. I hope that it was very helpful. I know I had a great time, and now you know the difference, body oils and infused oils, and why they're so good for your skin. Well, until the next video, everyone, I'm Felicia, your Bath and Body aficionado. Remember, from the neck down, I got you covered. Somebody asked me, one of my friends yesterday, I'm almost done. She said, Felicia, how come you don't do the face? I said, you really want to know why? She's like, yeah. I said, because everything for the face has been made, about to be made, will be made, is going to be made. I just don't touch it. There's just so many things coming out every day for. But for the neck down, I just feel that there's just not enough, and it's neglected. So that is why, from the neck down, I got you covered. All right, everyone. I will see you in the next video. Annyeonghaseyo, which is goodbye in Korean.